Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do something that's quick, easy, and way overdue. Stick around, we're going to check it all out in the latest GotBot True review. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, subscribe, share, check out Machinery Man, the Everything Factor, me everywhere, and have a look at Universal Collision and spend some time on the channel. See what it is that tickles your fancy. If you go back through the reviews playlist, you'll find a bunch of customs, a discussion about some toy reveals. You'll see a discussion about some basics and introduction to stop motion animation for the very novice beginner. Some customizing videos, so there's a lot of stuff to check out, and we're going to talk about this, and this is actually way overdue. Back in episode 7, where I sang, and I promised I'd never do it again, and I don't think I have since, I took a look at the Transformers Universe Deluxe Class Hound. This guy. And he is fantastic. He is, I still think, to this day, the definitive Chug Hound. He's excellent. He got 10s across the board. He's everything right with Transformers, just like Warpath and trigger happy, in my personal opinion. Yours, of course, might differ, and that's cool too. And I mentioned there how, of course, he came with a version of Ravage, and I didn't have that at the time. And I said, hey, if I get my hands on it, I'll review it, so I'm doing that today. It only took me a little over 300 reviews to get it back in hand, but hey, better late than never. So this guy, fantastic. We're going to take him out of it because, of course, the focus isn't on him. It's on Ravage, and we're going to measure him as we always do. I'm going to start him out in his little cassette mode. And, of course, you have two sides to it. You have, let's see if I can show this a bit better. You have this side, and you have this side. And I think it's supposed to be displayed on this side because that's where the Decepticon symbol is. It's a stretch to see it as a cassette. Maybe if you turn it over this way, it's a little bit better. But he's mostly all black. Now he does have the two holes. Now for those who may actually not be familiar with a cassette tape, you had two holes that pins went through when you put this in a stereo or a ghetto blaster or something like that. The tape would spin from one side to the other side, and of course the encoding for the music or whatever was on the tape as it played. Antiquated technology, no doubt, but it is classic because that's what Ravage was supposed to turn into. Why would Ravage come with Hound? It harkened back to an early episode where Ravage was caught by Hound, and some have said that the two of them kind of have a bit of a love-hate relationship, but he was captured by Hound, and I think maybe Mirage, and he was locked in a cage, and Hound made fun of him for not having the keys, and there you go. So he doesn't really do anything in this mode. It's a cassette mode. It is what it is. We're going to go into transformation, and then I will score his everything. The transformation for this guy, not too bad. I haven't done it in a while. So if I forget something, I apologize, but we're going to try and get through it as quickly as we can. I'll score him after with everything. Fold out his hind legs, fold out his front legs, come to the back and fold the leg out all the way like that, and fold the leg out all the way like that. Now, you actually want to bring them down the whole way that they can possibly go, because he has molded in detail here that's supposed to be reminiscent of his hip missile, we'll call it. It should have been painted silver. It's painted black, but basically straighten the leg out, bring this all the way down, straighten the leg out, and bring it, all the way down. Why do we want to do that? We want to do that so that we can actually fold his front paw forward and fold his other front paw forward. And now we have both of his front paws down. Okay, so turn the guy around. We're going to want to bring back his hind legs next, but we want to bring out his tail first, and that's over right here. It's a little pin, and you really want to move it from as close as possible in by the little nub, and we bring the hind legs up and together. And I guess straighten the tail down. So he kind of looks like this. Next we want to take out his head, and you're reaching under here to do that. And there you go. You bring that up. So now we straighten up his head. Straighten up his front paws. Position his back paws. And we can lay him down, and boom, well, lay him down there. Boom, we have Ravage in his animal mode. This is a good looking Ravage, except for the fact that the tail is probably back here too far. It should be down further, or the legs shouldn't bend back quite as far as they do. It's a good looking Ravage. Very, very indicative of the character. So there he is. Here he is with his FOC incarnation. I looked at him in full back in episode 107 along with Rumble. I scored this guy, I guess, decent. I mean, his articulation is only about 5, but his paint was pretty darn accurate. The transformation's pretty easy. Here he is with the pretty awful Titans Return Ravage. Man, that thing is not that great. I scored this pretty much the lowest of all the Ravages that I have. The paint is alright. The articulation is pretty decent, but the transformation is just not great on this thing. Plus, it doesn't really look like a cat. And here he is with what I think is one of the best Ravages going. Though mine is a KO, this is my representation of the device label Ravage. Now, I looked at him in episode 263. By the way, I looked at the Titans Return one in episode 142. But yeah, in episode 263, I looked at this guy. He's a great Ravage. And by rights turns into a working USB hub now, or USB stick. Now, where mine's a KO, I don't really want to use it because I've heard that some of them have malware. But the official one, I think, is something like 2 gigs maybe, if I'm not mistaken. But this still has the look, and I totally dig it. So what about this guy? Well, paint apps are pretty great on him. It would be nice to have a few more silver touches, so I'm going to give his paint a 9. His transformation is interesting. A couple of pieces knock into each other ever so slightly, but once you do it a couple of times back and forth and kind of get it down, it's not that hard. I'm going to give his transformation also a 9, and his articulation, well, the head can go up and down, the mouth is just sort of naturally open. The front leg elbows, I guess we'll call them, they can bend a bit, the feet do nothing. The arm, the front paws can, I guess, splay out to the side. That's because of transformation, but hey, you got it. The back legs, they can move on an upper joint here. They can move at the knee joint of the paw. They, too, can, I guess, splay out kind of like this. That doesn't really help you, but it's an option. His articulation, is a touch better than his G1 incarnation. It's not as good as some other ones, obviously, that we've got. I'm going to give his articulation about a 6.5. If I want to be generous, I'm going to say 7, but about a 6.5. It could be better. Overall, this guy is about, he's about a 7, 7.5. It is a decent little Ravage to have in your collection. If you got him, I don't think you need the FOC. I don't even think you need the Titans Return, even though I respect what they did with that, because they certainly tried to make him more versatile by giving him a vehicle mode as well as a tablet, modern update, device storage type of thing. If you are only going to have one Ravage and it's not like a masterpiece version and you don't want something that is larger, like from the movie line or some such thing as that, if you still want something that's sort of small, that, you know, could look at least relatively decent next to a Soundwave on the shelf, I would probably go for this one, the device label one, as kind of the best going one. It certainly has the best articulation of them all. Anyway, that's it. Like I said, a quick little look at this guy because I had passed him over when I did Hound. Now I am going to take a second. I'm going to put both of them back in their alt modes and just show a feature that he does have with Hound. So just give me a second and we will be right back with that. Okay, and one last thing, and I guess I should have done this earlier. Ravage can go on the back of Hound, and I mean, he holds him very securely. He's not going to fall off or anything like that. And you might ask, well, okay, how does that happen? Well, I'll take him off just to show you before we go here. I mentioned how in cassette mode he has two little holes here and here. There are little holes that make up his cassette. Well, on the back of Hound, there's a section back here. Now, there's two little tabs there, and you can probably see them there. Tab right here and a tab right here. They're normally folded down. You can fold those up, and then those little tabs go up into the holes. It's strange, though. It's a matter of like a rectangular peg going into a round slot, but it works because once it's in, it fits very, very nicely. You know, Hound was a perfect 10. Overall score for Ravage, like I said, 6.5 maybe. Maybe a 7 if I'm being really generous. Overall as a set, this is still a solid, you know, 8.5 for a set. Definitely get the Hound. Your call about the Ravage. Anyway, thanks for dropping by, giving me a few minutes of your valuable time. I tried to keep this one quick. Let me know what you think of this incarnation of the Decepticon cat. And as always, I appreciate you giving me some of your time, and I look forward to the next time that you and I get together for another visit right here inside the videos.